Verse 22. Therefore give the people of Israel this message from the sovereign Lord. I am bringing you back, but not because you deserve it. I'm doing it to protect my holy name, on which you brought shame while you were scattered among the nations. I will show how holy my great name is, the name on which you brought shame among the nations. And when I reveal my holiness through you before their very eyes, saying the sovereign Lord, then the nations will know that I am the Lord. For I will gather you up from all the nations and bring you home again to our land. Now listen, then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. Your filth will be washed away. You will no longer worship idols, and I will give you a new heart. I will give you a new heart. And I will put a new spirit in you. And I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart. And I will put my spirit in you so that you will follow my decrees and be careful to obey my regulations. Very often, unfortunately, in Christianity, we focus on some moment that we said a prayer. Just say this prayer. The sinner's prayer, whatever we call it. That's nowhere in Scripture, by the way. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it if your heart truly bows to Jesus at that moment. There has to come a point where we do cry out to the Lord, whether it's through some prayer that someone leads us or just the cry of our heart before the Lord. But Jesus is telling us here what salvation really means. And Jesus is telling us here what the new covenant is really about. What it means when the groom comes for his bride. It means that these old wineskins of our heart are replaced. Not emptied and filled with something else, but literally replaced. A new heart, Jesus said. I've come to give you a new heart. And I've come to fill that heart with my spirit. If you try to put my spirit into your existing heart, if you try to put the life of my spirit into some type of system that is already at place within your lives, it will burst it. It cannot be contained in it. Everything is new. This is the message. This is the imagery that those of us who are not Jewish and those of us who are not steeped in the prophecies so well could miss. But these followers of John and these Pharisees knew exactly what Jesus was talking about. They knew the scriptures of God coming to them as a groom comes for his bride when Messiah comes. They knew the prophecy of Ezekiel that when he comes, it would be newness, change, a new heart. A heart of flesh that can now expand with the newness of the Spirit. And so it's important for you and for me today, guys, to understand exactly what Jesus was saying, or the best that we can, at least. To understand that whatever religious tradition we come from, Jesus will overflow and bust it out. It doesn't matter what our label has been. Jesus has come for something radically different. He's come for people who are willing to get up from their tables and follow him. He's come for those of us who recognize our need for a new heart. He's come for those of us who as a bride long to see our groom and have that kind of intimacy. He's come to fill our new hearts that he gives us with his spirit and new life. This is all that Jesus was expressing to the followers of John and to the Pharisees. And that's why he said, this is a time to eat. This is a time to feast, not a time to fast. This is a time of life and exaltation and joy. It doesn't mean it's not appropriate for us to fast. We'll be trying to go as a church in the new year through another fast season. A time that's not mandated or legalistic, a time that's simply an offering for us to set aside time to worship the Lord in a more intimate way. There is appropriate times for fasting. But this was not one of them. Not when the groom has come for you and it's time for the banquet. So I want to ask you in closing, guys. What's your old wineskin? What are the things you're trying to fit Jesus into when he says, no, I can't do that. I'm new cloth. I'm fresh wine. You can't fit me into that. You need to be willing to let me take that away and give you a fresh container. What's my old wineskin and your old wineskin? What do we need to bow before the Lord today and say, Lord, give me new cloth. Give me fresh wine. Give me a new heart in this area. So important that we recognize Christmas is not about parties, though it's appropriate to party. It's not about food, though it's fine to eat. It's not about carols, though it's beautiful to sing. Christmas is about a new wineskin and new wine. Christmas is about Christmas is about Jesus coming as a groom comes for his bride. Do you know him that intimately? Do I? Do we want to? Take a moment and bow your hearts. Have you been like a disciple of John? Have I been? Have you been like the Pharisees? Have I been? Or today will we be like the true disciples of Jesus who celebrate in his presence? Who receive his love as a bride receives it from her groom. Who embrace a new heart from Jesus and new wine to flow. Lord, please help us, Lord. Please help us, Lord, to not settle for ritual or tradition, for any religious structure or pattern or habit, when you have come for nothing less than intimacy and fulfillment and new life. Oh Lord, in our hearts today, let the banquet begin. In our hearts today, Lord, may we receive you truly as our groom. Speak to us, Lord. Speak to us now.
Eternity.